Alright, so I'm here with Nathaniel and Colby today. We're in the, what's this, 83 F150?
Yep.
That I just showed you a bit in the introduction. We're just driving it around on the driveway and back little of the field right now, but give you a bit more in-depth tour of it. So, here goes nothing.
Hey, bump. Just an FYI, no suspension yet, so it kind of twerks when it drives. I'm just letting you know. So, but we'll see. So, and this isn't the maximum height. It's still going to go up about another inch. And like I said, there's no suspension yet, so it's still going to get shocks and everything. So, but all the dash is torn out now. Most of my interior is in. I'm just waiting to put it in when we're done with the bed. So. Alright, this is a custom battery bracket too. So all I did was measure across, and I ended up having to cut the ends down on my poles and then just filed them, and then basically just wing nutted them on. But I mean, it works good so far. I mean, I kind of ripped it out in the cornfield the other day and it was fine, which I shouldn't have done totally, and we all know why that happened. But it's a 302. My plans eventually are to have a 460. I've always wanted a big block, but this is what came in it. It did have a V6. It actually had what my Ranger has in it, which was, I think, a 3.4. But with this one, everything's been basically redone from the headers, the exhaust too, all the way back. It's a side dual exhaust. It's not the straight pipe straight back coming out near the bed. But everything's been repainted, all new valve covers, new carb. It had a Holly. This is an Edelbrock, but that a new radiator.
We're doing some body work today. As you can see by the time-lapse video, we're getting the bed all sanded up and ready to go, or grinded down. But yeah, here's what we're working on. Alright, so I kind of showed you earlier. It's pretty late now. It's been several hours since we've been working. We went to go grab something to eat, and then we just hung out a bit since. But you can kind of see where we were sanding right here. Or not sanding, but like grinding it down just so we can get ready to either weld or put back in like body filler. So, nice. We're working with that on the outside. Sanded down right here. This got painted down here. All sanded. Looking nice here. And then, yeah, you can see the same for the bolt holes on the side over here. And then this piece is going to go in where you saw that gap earlier, right above where the paint is.
It's right
so
in front of the bed.
Yeah, right in the front of the bed. So that'll be up against the cab of the truck once it's all in and good. Yeah, you can see where it's welded right there. Pretty nice weld. We're all sitting here and it looks like we have some sort of little podcast or something going. But I just figured, I showed you the truck a little bit earlier. I'm not actually the one that owns it. It's Colby, as you saw. I'm going to put in the video of Colby showing around the engine bay earlier, which for some reason stopped recording after a minute. So I'll show you guys that. But I mean, the 83 will probably make a few more appearances on the channel. I almost guarantee it will. So I figured we can give you a bit more information on that. So
yeah, mine, I got it in I believe it was March or April of 2020. The guy wanted 38 for it, which I wasn't gonna do. He did give me I think about 6 or 8 tires for it, plus the ones that were already on it. Most of which all were dry rotted anyway. I expected that.
Good one.
Thank you.
Almost $4,000.
But yeah, no, it was $4,000.
How much have you put in?
30. Well, when I originally got it, it was 3,200, and then plus everything that I've done now, probably about 10 grand. that I put into it, and then I just got my dad a lift for his birthday, so that was another $3,400 that I spent. So, but it's made things 10 times easier with having this, especially for the bed, because I have the bed off of the truck now, so it's a lot easier to do a lot of the body work and redoing these holes that Michael showed you. But it just makes everything a lot easier, and we've always wanted one. So for my dad's birthday, I figured I'd help him out, but
You're using it.
yeah, pretty much. I'm pretty much the only one using
Happy
it.
birthday, Father. Now it's
Thank
mine.
you. Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, so around 95 to 10 grand that I put into it already, and then plus paint, I'm probably going to be at 13 grand once I finish it. I don't plan on selling it. Eventually, maybe if I would have to, but I mean, that's nowhere near consideration of mine right now. So, but thanks, boss.
Yeah. So, the question is, what's coming for the future? Because I mean, obviously you've got that on, but you still got work to do.
Yeah, I want to eventually get a 460, a big block in it. But with what I have now, I'm fine with it. If anything, I need to get my gearing done right in my rear and my front rear, because it's actually meant for a V6. So it kicks like hell right now because it's geared for a V6, but it's a 302 in it. So but I like it so far. I mean, there's nothing really wrong with it, but I've always wanted a big block, and that's the main big block that I want from Ford is the 460. So eventually I'll go with something like that. But I mean, until then, I'm kind of happy with what I have. And there's a lot of other guys that I've talked to, and they said that it's a good block to have for a small. So I mean, I'm not complaining at all about it. So yeah.
I mean, because the only issue that you really had so far was the other night, right?
Yeah. That was not fun. Nathaniel was in the Suburban.
How are your lug nuts doing now?
Better than they were.
Yeah, we had a slight altercation while driving it around the other night.
It was right outside the barn door.
Whipping around.
Probably 30 feet from where we're
Me
sitting
and
right
Michael
now.
were whipping it with Nathaniel out in our cornfield. I was a complete dumbass when I came back, and then my drum popped off because I didn't tighten my lugs all the way, and I hadn't checked them in like a week. That's a mistake I'll never make again.
No, we're driving like right out there, and yep.
Yeah, and all of a sudden I felt my back left side
It just starts like shaking.
shift. I look back, the drive shaft is still going. I go to shift in the park, and it's not in 4-wheel drive, mind you, and it grinds like hell. So I get out, and then Nathaniel's like, let me pull the ground, and I'm like, well, I go inside, just throw it in park, and then pull the key. So either...
We just like walk around, and we just know that the wheel is just
either,
not on there.
No, it was either pulling the ground or just pushing it as far as I could in the park and letting it grind, and then pulling the key out of the ignition. But it was one of those two things that definitely set it off. But we just got it moved today again because I got new shoes on, because the backs are drums, fronts are calipers and discs, and it was the back. So now I actually have brand new drums on the back because one was all rusted and the other one was fine, and now they're both fine because I had to get a new drum anyway because it egged it. But yeah, I'm doing 33s. From what I've talked to, that's probably about the medium range of what guys do when it comes to having a 302. I really don't want to go bigger than that. For more torque, I've always wanted more so to stay in that lower range. If I get a 460 eventually, maybe I'll do 35s or something, but I'm happy with 33s so far. I need new tires anyway, so that's kind of where I'm at now. And then next is really welding these holes back in for the carriage bolts in the bed, and then it's kind of on the paint. And I got all the interior in now, so and everything's cut out, luckily. So I got to go through some more things like speakers, radio. Yeah, I ordered 2 dashes. I'm a big brain.
We can show you the interior that's going into it. I don't know if you saw the interior earlier, but it's kind of taken apart right now just because obviously the new one has yet to go in there. But
oh yeah, let me get
let's see if we can show that real quick.
Visors, that's them. Another one here. Speakers are in there somewhere. I ended up having to just rip it because a lot of these have those same pop rivets that are hard to get out, and then I ended up just basically ripping it, which probably wasn't the best idea because it's hard to find stuff aftermarket for this. So what's gonna end up with these is that I'll probably just end up having to repaint them and then throwing them back in. But like headlines and stuff like that. I'm getting new speakers too. And then a new radio. The radio's over there. But, yeah, that's kind of the place of the interior right now. So yeah.
I'm going.
So with this, I'm gonna end up doing blue and silver paint, as in on my exterior. The inside's gonna be blue, and I'm going with black charcoal carpet. This is the dash. Like I said before, I already ordered 2 by accident, obviously. But yeah, this is the kind of color. I kind of like it. It's like a deeper navy blue. As far as the other stuff, these are my door panels. I'll get them out real quick.
All right.
Is that blue?
Yeah, it's blue.
Yeah, it's blue. So these are the same color as the as my dash, but these will be going on the side. And when I originally took, I think I still have them. These are the original ones. It was red interior, and it's got a pearl exterior paint. But these were the old ones. They're relatively the same exact thing, but with these, it's just that darker same blue. If anybody ever ends up doing this, you got to remember that there's a screw for your window handle that you got to remove. I ended up just tearing it out of there because that was the easiest way possible. And then they did all this fake wood stuff and everything, but I mean, if I can find it, I can. If I can't, then it's no big deal, and I'll just end up having to cover it up some other way. Seat belts, don't buy them. These are $300 each, I think. So all I'm gonna do is extract these as much as I can. I save the bolts for them, just re-bolt them in, and then paint it blue or whichever color. Really, I'll go black if I have to. But that new weather stripping and everything too. That's all back there. But yeah, it's really where I'm kind of at for interior right now. Like I said, I haven't gotten the carpet yet, but that's kind of pretty much be the first thing that I do for the interior once I'm done with the bed in there. So this is kind of all the stuff that I have right now. But yeah, like I said, all new weather stripping and everything for that. And then oh yeah, the radiator, which does not have a bracket on it right now. That's gonna get a an aluminum bracket up front, 2 inches long. It's an L, so it's an L bend down about 1.5 inches, and then 3 inches up top. That'll curve over. So but I'll show you that as soon as I can. And I got 2 seat rebuild kits too, because this thing basically lost all of its spring. The board's coming off. So that's where that's at, but I don't know if I'm gonna just take that off or not. But with everything else, I mean, it's plenty enough to just keep me busy. So yeah.
Like I said, it's gotten a little dark out since we were last out here. We're back out at the engine.
So as I said before, this is just basically gonna bolt on like that. These are gonna have to move. I might just end up the popper of it, so I might just end up popping them out and then moving them to the bottom if I have to. But this is obviously going to get cut because this is too long. But that's going to bolt right here. And then go across because I actually did have rubber and then it came out in between here for padding on my radiator because it's a $450 radiator. It's a B Cool. If you invest in anything, when you're doing a build, I highly suggest that you do the your cooling system, your water pump, everything. It's more than important to keep all that crap running right. But yeah, with this, all I'm gonna do is take a piece of weather stripping, stick it down there on that line, and then remount it to here. But that's basically it for that, like I said before. So that's kind of where I'm at for that. But then also for the power steering pump, it's fine on fluid, but when the pulley runs, the rotor for the pulley is constantly going back and forth, and I have a real loud whine to it.
Like that.
And then, basically, the belt is a little bit loose, too, so that's going to have to get tightened. But other than that, it's been running fine, knock on wood. But, I actually had oil appearing down in here. I had to replace the oil pan gasket. That was a bitch to do, because you had to get there was probably about 25 to 30 bolts you had to get out. And then with the way Ford makes their engine mounts, it's not easy at all. So that's all new, and come to find out, it wasn't even leaking from there. It was leaking out of my gasket back here, and I ended up having water and oil build up down there, and that was just coming literally from a bad gasket between my water pump housing and the block. So, and that was a pain to deal with, but I had to do it regardless. So, I mean, but like I said, knock on wood, everything's been fine since then. So, yeah.
Future home with a bed right there.
Yeah, pretty much. I hope you like the original high beams. For anybody that didn't know, it's your pedal for your high beams. Right below the emergency brake. This is my mount right now, currently. 2 zip ties for my gauge manifold. As well as the oil and the water pressure gauge, and these are the bad ass that come with it. But right now, this is basically just bubble wrap insulation. I went with clear caulk just to hold it down, and you'd actually be surprised how warm it stays. It really does stay pretty toasty. I'm probably not going to go with air conditioning at all. I'm not really that concerned about it, but with another big concern, Michael actually threw his phone one time. It almost fell inside the transmission hole.
Yeah, true story.
That was not fun. I was an idiot and I cut the radio wires, but luckily enough, I still have the mount for it, for the cables inside the radio, so I'm going to be able to figure that out. And then basically all this is staying. The only thing that came out was the red interior because I'm doing blue or black or whichever. But I mean, other than that, that's kind of the state that it's in right now. These were the mounts for the speakers. If anybody didn't know, you have one here and then obviously one over there, and then they just connect through your manifold here and go back to your radio. But yeah, that's about it for right now on the interior. But you'll definitely see more of it. So.
All right, well, that's a small little introduction to the '83 F150 that Colby has, his pride and joy that we're getting fixed up, or he's getting fixed up and we're helping along with. I figured I'd just, of course, give you guys an introduction, something else to keep going on the channel, so I figured that would make for a cool little series of sorts. Obviously, I'm not here every second of every day, so I can't be recording everything, but I'll record whenever I'm here and helping out, so that's all I got.
I'll send Michael pictures, too, of everything,
yeah,
obviously.
he'll send me pictures, so as progress
yeah.
comes along, or if he has any videos or anything, I'll throw them in.
Yeah.
You guys can see that as well, so that's all I got, unless either of you guys have anything.
I mean, the Dakota's coming back.
Yeah, the Dakota, you saw the video, that's his truck, because he was in that video, but
That was fun.
that's coming back. He's been working on rebuilding that in his free time, so it's coming along. I'll try to get a video up on that soon as well. But, yeah, it's, I don't know when I'm going to put this up, when I'm going to get it edited, but it's November 20th, so if this doesn't get up till, like, a while from now.
Christmas.
Yeah, who knows? We'll see, but
You're actually on the drum box right now.
yeah, you're sitting on top of the drum brakes, so.
The new drum that I had to get, that was $35, which isn't too bad. No, that's not too bad at all, actually. It actually wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. But like I said before, I mean, that's a mistake I'll never make again. So it's just kind of a learning.
You only have to make that mistake once.
Dude, we spent
plenty of
forever
mistakes you can
tightening
make.
those lugs today.
We did. That was before Michael got here.
We
when
jumped
me
on
and
each one of them.
Yeah, pretty much. We were mounting ourselves on top of them and hopping, which probably wasn't the best idea because I could probably snap the lug threads off. But,
If it works.
yes, if it
But
works,
if they
it
didn't
works.
snap,
Yeah,
then they're extra tight. But we're good.
so
That's all I got.
yeah,
Unless
really,
you have anything.
really, the
Back
next
rookie
thing
maintenance
that's
2006.
happening is finishing touches on the body, and then also the fiberglass fenders. Since this is an '83, it's a fleet side. That's what Ford calls them, or step side, what everybody else calls them. Ford calls them fleet side for whatever reason. I have no idea. But and then these things here, they're the yeah. Those are just the step mounts that go on the side. I took them off because I wanted the paint behind it. I use Ford 15 for everything from my frame to my firewall to the inside of my firewall. Probably about $400 just in Ford 15 paint, but it never ever comes off for anything. It instantly stops rust pretty much. There's pretty much nothing else that'll really stand up against it. It's just an anti-rust that basically lasts forever. So the next thing really is just getting more work done on the bed. The interior is getting done, obviously once the bed's done, and then really primer, and then whenever I'm ready for paint, like I said, blue and silver. I might change my mind in between them, but that's what I'm thinking of right now. I think it'll look really nice.
So yeah, there's more to come. Hope you guys enjoyed this quick tour. Kind of gives you insight on what's being worked on here. So I guess that's it. Cool.
Good night, boys.